Thanks so much for joining us for ABC4 Utah Midday. I'm Emily Clark.
And I'm Glenn Willie. A Sandy neighborhood woke up to quite a scene after a tagger sprayed graffiti on two homes.
But police now have a lead thanks to our own Good for Utah's Jason Wynn, who joins us now live from the scene. Jason, what happened?
Good afternoon, Emily and Glenn. When we arrived on scene at 9500 South and 300 East, you couldn't help but miss this. That's when we decided to take a deeper look at what was going on here. That's when I found a spray can right here. The homeowner at this house is too upset to go on camera. This isn't the first time he had to deal with graffiti on his wall.
It happened once a few months ago, not to this extent, just a little bit.
The last time this wall was tagged was in February.
It's a nice, well-kept older community. This appears to be something that's being done by juveniles.
When I started looking at this neighborhood, I found this spray can and called police to remove it.
The officers collected the can. That will be processed for fingerprints, as well as photographs to be taken of the graffiti, and that'll be disseminated to our school officers.
The tagger had enough gusto to spray paint the side of this person's house. Neighbor Jackie Howard lives across the street from the recent taggings and now plans to improve her home's security.
We're getting some security cameras now, and hopefully it won't happen again, or next time we'll be able to see who it is. It could have been my house. I don't want this in my neighborhood.
Now, Sandy Police Department are talking with school resource officers to find out who this person is. They say they haven't dealt with this particular tagger in this area yet. We'll keep this story updated for you on our website, goodforutah.com. In Sandy, I'm Jason Wynn, Good for Utah.
Nice job, Jason.
A couple of Ogden City police officers are under investigation for gunning down a dog today. Officers say they were checking on the dog's owner when the dog was shot. Good for Utah's Jason Wynn tells us why family members say police went too far.
The Ogden City Police Department got a welfare check phone call at 11:30 last night.
She had not heard from her brother for 3 previous days since a post on Facebook that drew her concern. The concern was that he was in some trouble in Ogden and needed help.
According to a police statement, the sister was worried about her brother and gang violence. When police showed up at the home, nearly 2 hours later, they found him in the backyard where expletives were passed.
The individual responded with a threat that he was going to sick a pit bull or a dog on the officers. Immediately following that, a dog was released from this handler with the handler yelled, "Get him," or "Get them."
Police say the officer felt threatened and shot the dog several times.
6 times. They could have pepper sprayed her. I'm pretty sure the first shot literally hurt her, you know. 6 times is kind of like, was it really necessary?
This family member did not want to be identified, recalls a different event.
Came outside, my mom was screaming, "They shot my dog, they shot my dog."
The mother suffered from a heart attack because of the shooting. Police say the dog was violent and had 2 prior complaints with animal control. The family says that's not true.
Even after she got shot, she didn't go in attack mode or nothing like that. She was going back to her kennel.
The family says they caught everything on camera and say police will have to answer for killing their dog.
The cops were going to remove the camera. And my dad told them, "You know what? You guys already did what you did. Please get off my property and do not remove that camera." And the officer asked my dad, "Well, is there audio in that camera?" And my dad says, "Yes, there is audio in that camera." Now the family does plan on suing the Ogden City Police Department. Now that department tells me that the man that they were looking for yesterday does have priors against him, including assault on a police officer. They plan on bringing charges against this man as soon as a district attorney signs off on it. It's a story we're going to keep you up to date on goodforutah.com. In Ogden, I'm Jason Wynn, Good for Utah. This is what's left from the accident that happened just before 5 o'clock this morning. I spoke to a semi-truck driver that was right behind the accident, that was there to pull out a man from the burning cab of this truck. Now, he says he doesn't want to be a hero, and he doesn't think he's a hero, and he didn't want to be identified after he saved the man's life. Fire crews from 2 states responded to this semi-accident off of Interstate 80 near mile marker 182.
And the one driver actually is still alive at this point because of bystanders who pulled him out of the burning semi.
The man that led the charge was also a truck driver.
I'd noticed flames shooting up in the air about a mile away, so I came up on this accident site and I noticed that there were 2 vehicles in flames.
Both trucks folded up like an accordion. Underneath the cab of this truck, one of the drivers.
I don't know how he ended up outside of the cab, but the cab was mangled, and it took me and a couple other people just to lift the cab off of him. And
the semi driver's next choice saved a life.
We were kind of hesitant to move him because of his injuries, and I felt, you know, it's better that we move him and let him be injured a little more than have him burn up in a 1,000-degree heat.
It was a good thing he did.
And as soon as we moved him, the other trailer on the right side had several explosions coming off of it. That's when we noticed there was a hazmat trailer.
And then?
The far left trailer was on fire and in flames on top of the frame of the gas tanks of the first truck. And we knew where they were going to go because we were hearing them. We were hearing the hiss off of them. And as soon as we heard the hiss off that's when that truck's cargo started to explode.
Inside one of the trucks,
500 batteries and 440 gallons of acid magic, which is a cleaning substance.
Fire crews let both trucks burn most of the chemicals out before putting the truck fires out on the westbound lanes.
And either the other truck didn't see it, and he probably didn't because it was dark, and this other truck didn't notice he lost his brakes. This is a matter of life, and this is a pretty dangerous stretch of road, and a lot of drivers are so complacent in how they do their jobs that things like this happen because no one pays attention.
Now the man that was saved by the Good Samaritans is in critical condition tonight. He has some severe burns and some serious injuries from this accident. We'll bring you the latest on his condition as this story continues to develop. On I-80 near mile marker 182, I'm Jason Wynn. Good for Utah.
New this morning, a family argument leads to a standoff last night in Magna.
Good for Utah's Jason Wynn at the Salt Lake County Jail, where the man who allegedly caused all the commotion is being held. Jason, what happened?
Well, alcohol played a major factor in this domestic violence case. Unified Police Department says that the man that got into an argument with his family members decided to pull out a shotgun. Unified Police Department was joined by the West Valley Police after a man fired off a shotgun in this Magna home.
Somebody inside the home called, informed us that there was an argument going on and that the suspect had a gun.
Police say just after 10 last night, this man was the one to get into the fight.
He came back out, a struggle took place over the shotgun, and then the suspect fired off a round inside the house.
Police made calls into the home to get the family out and to talk with the man.
Initially on our first call inside the house, those family members came out, and then a second call into the house trying to get the suspect to come out is when he ultimately surrendered and came out.
He has been charged with discharging a firearm in county limits following a domestic violence argument. Now more charges are pending on this man as police continue to investigate what happened. We'll bring you those details as soon as they're released. In Salt Lake City, I'm Jason Wynn. Good for Utah.
Thanks for staying with us for midday. 2 weeks ago, a brush fire in Draper came 12 feet from a home there. The fire burned more than 20 acres, and since then, the Unified Fire Authority has worked to cut down brush, trim the grass, and take out dead trees. Good for Utah's Jason Wynn went out with UFA to talk about what homeowners can do to protect their home as the temperatures rise, and so does the fire danger.
I'm in Suncrest, where firefighters will begin cleaning up this area on Monday to reduce the risk of property loss when a wildfire happens. A partnership with the state of Utah has allowed firefighters to come into unoccupied areas and clean it up to lower fire hazards. A lot like this is turned into this in the matter of days.
They took out a lot of the fire risk, the stuff that's down low, and cleaned it up so these bigger, taller oak trees can continue to grow and be healthy.
Nearly 24 firefighters not only cut dead trees down, they limbed them up meaning they cut the limbs to 6 feet or head height.
They really can't get up in the treetops unless you have a lot of embers, a lot of wind, and most of it hopefully will stay on the ground where we can continue to fight it and be safe.
Unified Fire Authority is now going to homeowners to address fire concerns on the mountain edge.
And it helps us as firefighters know which properties have a lot of work done, where we can kind of put people, some ones that we can leave alone because we know they'll be okay and they stand a pretty good chance of survival. All right, then we're just gonna look at this property over here.
The first thing a firefighter will do is look at the type of house you have. Is it brick, stucco, or wood? What type of roof you have?
You look at how much material could possibly be on the roof or in the rain gutters.
Looking at the windows, plastic blinds won't help in a fire.
These blinds are perfect. You know, the wood blinds, so it's a little more durable. It's going to resist the heat a lot better than a fabric or a lightweight curtain.
Vents, also a concern.
You have like a vent on the back of your home, just making sure those are enclosed, and that, you want, at least, 3/16 of an inch or smaller. Make sure you got good airflow, but also to keep those tiny little embers out.
Firefighters ask for at least 30 feet of clear area of vegetation so that they can fight fires. Because if vegetation's a little too close and all the brush is close to the home, they may pass over it in case of a fire because they can't save it. Watering your lawn on sprinkler days will also save your home.
Even though it's kind of a convenient place to have firewood, sometimes it's not always the best, especially in the summer.
If your home is on a slope, beware that fire moves faster on hillsides, especially if it's windy.
A lot of these homes aren't threatened initially by the fire itself, but by the embers and the smoke and the heat that come off of that.
With temperatures reaching 90 degrees, things are drying out and they're going from green to this dried out brown. So firefighters are going to be out and about here on Monday in the Suncrest area to clean up some of this, but they want homeowners to be aware too. So that's why we did this story that's good for Utah. In Suncrest, I'm Jason Wynn, good for Utah.